What's up, everybody? It's your girl Q1, and I am back with Raising Kanan. Y'all, I don't know if I'm starting not to like this season. I don't know. I don't know because I'm not sure if I'm not liking it because I have to review it and I'm not just watching it or something. Something I don't know. I don't know. But we're gonna finish this out because it may get good. I'm just trying to figure out, like, what's the why am I so off when it comes to Raising Canaan? Like, I don't know. Anyway, this is season 4, episode 4, The Way We Were. Y'all, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell button so you can be updated on every video that I drop. Also, y'all, please make sure you liking up all the videos so I can stay in the algorithm of things. Okay? All right. So, let me see. The episode starts with Marvin. He knocked out, I forgot the dude's name, but he knocked old dude out. And he did that for Tremont. I'm sorry, he knocked Tremont out. Because y'all remember Rock told him to go find Tremont. So he found him at his hotel or room or whatever, knocked him out, and took him with him. So over at Rock Mama's house, Rock is over there, and Rock is still pissed off because, you kept this away from us. And Rock says that her mom quit on her when their dad passed away. And ultimately, Rock just wanted her mom to be a better parent and put in more effort to show them that she cares, but she did not. Her mom admits that she was not the best mom. And I was like, oh. And I don't know, it almost seemed like, okay, Rock, because you kind of like that with Kanan. So, yeah, I was thinking, like, Rock, you kind of the same way with Kanan, but you're a little more, you're more present, okay? So, and that's and another thing, the way Rock feel about her mom, that's kind of mirrors how Kanan feels about Rock, which is crazy. But then I was thinking, well, Rock, are you mad because she's actually sick? Or because she didn't tell you? It was like a lot of emotions came out of Rock. And I want to say, out of all of these seasons, this was the first time I actually seen her cry. And so, when she was faced to have her emotions, she did what most people do. She got up and she left. And I was like, okay, that's not how you handle that, but okay. So, in the next scene, Marvin has taken Tremont to this abandoned pool. He has him tied up and, he's beating him up. Pretty much. That's just what that was. So then we get to the next scene. Kanan had already found out that he was robbed. He just don't know by whom. Crystal doesn't want him to, have his business, his Kokiana business, in their new home. She wants him to find, somewhere else to take care of that. Don't bring that here. Handle that somewhere else. So we get a knock on the door, and Chris was like, it's her. She don't like me. And I was thinking, well, maybe it was Rock. And I totally forgot. But it was Juke at the door. And I want to say last season she had Juke beat up by the girls. I think, y'all, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm wrong, y'all drop it down in the comments. But I want to say Crystal had got some girls to beat Juke up, which was insane. Okay. So Juke is at the door, and we know Juke cannot stand Crystal. Kanan was like, you know what? I'm going to leave y'all two here to chop it up. She was like, I was coming over here to hang out with you. And then you gonna leave. Like, what is that? Okay? Like, you gonna leave me in here with this? No, I don't like her. She had me dragged. Okay? So, that was that. Rock finally arrived arrived to Marvin. And they're still torturing Tremont. And basically, they want to know who his connect is. I was like, y'all did all this for a connect, but okay. That's fine. So over back at Kanan's, Crystal actually apologizes to Juke. She tells Juke that she has some things going on, and what we know it to be, that her mom's boyfriend was molesting her. So they said it last, she said it last episode, but we didn't know that then. And so she was like, I was going through some things at home and I just needed a way out. And she said butter was her way out. So Juke tells her, is Kanan your way out? And so she was like, no, I really love Kanan. And she says she just want them to be cool. Just basically on the strength of Kanan. He loves you. And I know I'm not there yet, but on the strength of Kanan, I want us to be cool. Point blank in a period. And so Juke was like, says maybe, and then she leave. So then we get to the studio. We see B-Rilla and Lua in the studio. This woman named Amani, who's the product manager over at the record label. She's there to manage and kind of spruce up B-Rilla's image. Like, he really needs that. And so she tells Lou, you know what? I'm not here to step on your toes. I'm just here to introduce myself to everybody and let you know what my role is as it relates to B-Rilla. So at this point, Lou, mean AF, like he's very off-putting to Miss Amani. Like, very off-putting. But y'all know, I thought it was some sexual tension. That's what I thought. I don't know. But I think that something is physical is going to happen, but that's just my opinion, okay? And she basically, like I said, she just wanted to introduce herself and just kind of go from there. So Kanan, he goes to visit Pop and Snap, and to give them their money. They was like, you coming up a little short. Like, what's that about? So he tell him he got robbed. Basically, they said, we don't give a damn if you got robbed. You better have our money, our cut, right. I don't know if you got to go sell some coup de twat, some banana pipe tail. Go sell it, because we want our money. Okay? So Snap was like, basically just summed up what I said. Just because you short, that don't mean we have to be short. That's just how it works. So in the next scene, Neek is telling Early, he was like, I want people to see my face. I want people to see that that I have arisen. That Jesus has woke me up. And I've been woke up. God has risen. What am I saying, y'all? What am I saying? That Lazarus has been raised from the dead. At this point. But no, Neek wants people to see that he's alive and well and kicking it. Because he thinks that Rock is taking his money. And so it's like, I just kind of feel like, if you're unalive, did you want her to stop because you knew somebody was going to take your corners? That lady, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, this whole Neek situation is kind of weird to me, but I guess. So Marvin shows up, and then Neek sneaks out in the back. And so basically Marvin goes to Early for a proposition with Stefano. And he told him he was going to have him to meet with Stefano. Anyway, back over at Snap and Pop. Pop asks Kanan, how do you want the people to see you? He tells Pop, I want people to just see me. And Snap tells Kanan about Quan and him wanting to introduce him to Quan, because y'all know Quan was Rock's distro. Rock's connect. And so, of course, y'all know Kanan gonna jump at the chance to do it, because I guess in some ways he still want to be better than Rock. And it's like, this lady been doing this for a long time. Like, get over yourself. I don't know, y'all. Kanan just get on my nerves. He just remind me of Tyreek when Tyreek was young. Oh, anyway, so Juke is back over at the lesbian bar, okay? And so it's a woman just gyrating, sitting there just gyrating on the dance floor, looking at Juke, throwing that in a circle for Juke. She wasn't, but basically, she wanted to throw that on Juke, okay? So she came over. We found out the lady name is Jackie, and she was just really flirting hard. She was like, "You want a drink?" And Juke was like, "No, girl, I guess." So in the next scene, Meek went to go visit this dude. Now, I wasn't familiar with him, and I may have missed who he was last season. And the dude, and like everybody else, thought Neek was unalive. Basically, at this point, Neek is going around trying to set up a crew. Like, he's trying to, he's basically trying to find alliances. That's the word I was looking for. He's basically looking for alliances right now. So he asked Neek, what do you want? And he was like, "You already took my business." Neek responds and said, "No, that was Rock." And now everything is Rock fault. Everything at this point is on Rock. He tells him, "I know how you move, So basically, I think he was saying, you pretty solid, So basically, he's just trying to find alliances. I had to peep that out, but he looking for alliances before he can pop out and show him, I guess. I'm sorry, y'all. Anyway, so Juke and Mara come out of the club, and we find out that Mara is married, but not only is she married, she's married to an abuser. So she looked at him, saw him, her and Juke kept walking. She was like, "Let's go." She was like, "Who is that?" She was like, "Oh, yeah, that's my husband." And so he grabs her. He pushed Juke down. Her face is all messed up. He grabs Mara, drags her by her hair, and throw her in the back seat of the car. I was like, oh my God. So, in the next scene, Rock and Marvin meet up with Traymont's connect. Ish. I'm gonna call him Ish. Okay. So, at this point, Rock isn't looking for a connect. She's looking to be a supplier at this point. She wants the direct link to the product. She wanted to be by her rules. And, he was like, "Listen," he told her, "You can meet. I can point you to the right person. Basically, you just have to come back tomorrow without Marvin." And so she was like, "Bet." So in the next scene, Lowell had a meeting over at the record label. Lowell had a meeting with Lou and Amani. And he tells Lou, "Hey, Amani told me you was very off-putting with her," basically. He didn't say off-putting. And he was like, "No, I wasn't." "Yes, you was." And so Amani was like, "I didn't say that." And so she worded it in a way that she said it. But basically, he was like, "Y'all need to work together. The common denominator right now is B-Rilla. And we want to sell him. We want to, get his image together. And I need y'all to be on the same page. You work on the music. Amani work on everything else." So everything was cool on that part. So Marvin and Early is sitting down with Stefano, and Stefano gives Early the opportunity over in Corona, somewhere in Corona, about running numbers or something. So Early agrees to it. But Stefano tells Marvin, any mistake that Early makes, I'm going to be looking for you because you vouching for him. And so we see the next part where Kanan meets Quan. I really didn't get too much out of that, but, it is what it is. So over at the Chinese distro place, I guess, where they have all the stuff that they send to their people, Meek is actually robbing their warehouse. He said, he tells homeboy, "Hey, I just want to really hurt Rock." I was like, oh, he is really coming for Rock. Like, hands down, he's coming for Rock. So Amani wants to change, as we stated, she wanted to change B Rilla's image, okay? And at first, they started talking about Famous. In a way, it was a way that Lou was looking. I was wondering, did you do anything to Famous? Like, I don't know. In that moment, I felt like he did something to Famous. I don't know. It was just, where is Famous? What is happening? So, Rock goes to Tremont's Connect-ish. And so he was like, listen, if you want to meet with my person, you have to get in the car. And there's a driver there. So it's two people, a driver and another person. And they take her over to, he tells her to get in the car. She gets in the car and they leave. So in the next scene, Neek meets Teresa, Sal's wife. We know Sal was unalive. And she gives Neek an address to tell him to go, for him to go talk to the guy and tell him Sal's wife sent you. And still, at this point, everything Neek is talking to Teresa about is about, basically about Rock. Like, she did this, she unalived your husband, and she unalived my brother. Like, it's right now, it's just by any means necessary at this point, which is insane. So, in the next scene, Rock meets Ish's Connect to talk to him about being a supplier. And so it was just a lack of respect, the lack of respect he actually had for Rock in that moment. And he was very off-putting. He was like, if I'll be in touch. It was just short and sweet. And it was like, oh, okay, like you just gonna leave this lady hanging like that? But whatever, y'all. So Kanan goes over to Lou's house. And they start to have this conversation about Famous. So that's when I realized he probably did not do anything to Famous, because I'm not gonna hold y'all. I thought that Kanan did something to Famous. And they was wondering, like, where's his whereabouts. So he was like, man, I talked to Jessica, which is Famous' sister. And he was like, she sound worried. And they just don't know where, don't know why, what's going on. Kanan just thinks that something bad happened to Famous, and he's just waiting on somebody to come and tell him. So two detectives show up at Rock's house asking her, did you hear, because I think she heard about Andre, her attorney, but they tell her that you were the last one with him. And she was like, hold up, I ain't do that. That wasn't on me. And he was like, no, we just wanted to know if you knew his whereabouts. She was like, that was just my attorney, and that's it. I just came to dance for y'all, and that's it. She was like, I can't talk to y'all no more. So at this point, she was like, I gotta get an attorney. But basically, they said they wanted to know, like, did he tell her about where he was going next or whatever? Because she thought that it was a robbery. She thought that he got robbed, and she was like, did somebody rob him or whatever? And it was like, no. But that was that on that, and they leave. And again, the lack of disrespect, it was the body language that the cops showed toward that, they displayed towards her, the laughing and the smiling. It was just like, we really don't respect you. And I don't know, it was just odd to me, and maybe I'm tripping, maybe I'm a wee bit sensitive, but that's how I took it. Okay, so in the next scene, Marvin and Juke pull up at Mara's house. He gets out, he has his gun. Juke was like, no, do not take that gun, just scare him, basically. So he was like, all right, bet. Went upstairs, he gave Juke the gun. He went upstairs, knocked on the door. He kept knocking. The dude was like, who is this? Who is it? Who is it? With an attitude. So as soon as he opened the door, Marvin punched him in the face. So they get the tussling, like Marvin was handling him. And then when Marvin was getting ready to get up and leave, he pulls out, I think that was a machete, and he sliced Marvin with it. So Marvin kind of went down. So that's when he got the best of Marvin, and he was on top of Marvin, and they were struggling with the knife. And that's when Juke came in and unalived him. So Juke and Marvin ran out to the car, and I'm sorry, y'all. So Juke and Marvin ran out to the car. They leave or whatever, and as it was going off, we see Juke's face, and it was almost like she had a smirk on her face. So it's probably the beginning of what changed Juke. I mean, what changed Juke. How she became who she was as a cop, as a dirty cop. How she became who she was in the original Power. So I think this is where everything kind of shifts for Juke. I don't know. We'll see. That's just my thoughts, y'all. And this is where the episode ended. I'm gonna give y'all the third episode of Being Mary Jane after this. So after you finish this, click over to the next one and listen. And then y'all see my review for Being Mary Jane episode 3. Again, thank y'all so much. I hope y'all like my content. I really be trying. Yeah. That's all I got, y'all. That's all I got.